Alright, today I'm going to kind of unbox and install the Garmin Striker 4 fish finder onto my trolling motor and kind of make a portable kit for summer. So this is the box it came in. I ended up buying a refurbished one on Amazon. It saved me about 25 bucks. So refurbished in Canada was 150 bucks Canadian. I think the new was 174 or so, and it came fully packaged, sealed. I actually took off a lot of the zip ties already and the screen protector and such, but this is what came in the box. They've got a transducer, quite a bit of cable. I couldn't tell you how much, but you can see there's a lot there. Large zip tie that can secure it to the motor. Mounting bracket, and this is actually curved to put on the bottom of the trolling motor. Rubber pad, mounting bracket for the actual display unit and such. Bunch of various hardware. The cable, the power cable, and then the actual Garmin handheld unit. Like I said, it came with the screen protector on it. I peeled that off already. Instructions, and then the box. So I'm going to be putting it on Minn Kota Endura C2 30 pound 30-inch shaft. Yeah, I'm just going to be putting on a little fiberglass boat up at the cabin, and I want to make something portable I can take in and out. So I'm going to mount it there and then make a little kit with the battery, and then also in the winter I can take it and I can use this for ice fishing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start mounting that. Alright, so I've got the main transducer assembly together now. The instructions are somewhat clear. The diagram kind of show you. You can also mount it to a transom too, but again, mine's going on a trolling motor. So you got your bolt here with the washer, followed by the outside of the bracket. Inside of the transducer, there's locking teeth. Then there's a rubber washer and a plastic spacer. Another part of the transducer, the holder, a washer in there behind the nut, and then the nut. And there's that oversized zip tie. And there's also this rubber mount, which is going to go there. And what I assume is for helping with vibration and such from the motor. And the one thing I had to figure out from the instructions is the orientation of this mount. But see how there's the hole kind of goes like that. It's a hole there, and it slopes towards you here, and you actually flex the wire out. All right, I didn't tighten this bolt up yet, just because I'll get the orientation set up once I get it on the motor. All right, next step, put it on the motor. Alright, I've got it on here on the trolling motor. Haven't mounted the wire and such, but I got the transducer on here. I just kind of want to show how it sits in case anyone's curious. So it is slightly lower than that fin, which I don't really care for, because if I do hit a rock, hopefully there's enough that it'll bounce it up and not take that transducer off. Yeah, we'll have to find out, I guess, the hard way. That's as level as the transducer will go. The next step up is a click. I tighten this screw just snug, but not tight. I want some play there. There is that rubber washer in there. In the off chance it does get hit, it's gonna bounce up. Now the only problem is it's like you're gonna hit the prop. You see there's not much clearance there. So I guess in summary, you gotta be careful with this. It could be a fragile setup. I did have to trim this clamp off and tucked it in through there. Now this plastic strap seems good and tight, but the instructions do say if you're in cold water or with something like wood debris or something, basically a lot of deadheads and such, replace it with a worm drive clamp. I've got a bunch of larger ones. I'm going to take them with me, and if I feel like I need to change that out, I can. It's not turning. It's actually pretty tight. Look, I can't, I push on it, it's not moving really. Yeah, I'd have to give it a good push. And yeah, that's pretty good. So next step, mount this cable Obviously I've got the motor up pretty high right now, just to kind of show you guys so I'm not working on the ground. But yeah, there's a good look at it. For all of you that are curious, you can see how much it sits down below the prop. Okay, let's mount that cable. Okay, so I went ahead and secured the cable on there. One of the things I didn't mention earlier is the manual actually does tell you to put this cable under this large zip tie. Doesn't seem to pinch it. There seems to be a bit of a gap. Probably a good idea. I moved this up to the center so it's in line with the shaft. Hopefully a little less drag. And then I zip tied it on the bottom here. And then I didn't actually secure it until again at the top. And all I did there is I actually just put electrical tape on now. For now, I want to test it out. But this allows me now to slide the shaft up and down freely. And then yeah, the next step is just mount these wires. So the thing I was thinking about now is if this ends up being a hindrance here on the bottom, too much drag, hitting things, etc., I may mount it a different way. Something I've done in the past is actually just mount this transducer on a stick and then just clamp it on the back of the boat, and then it's still portable. So we'll have to try it out and see. Okay, so now I'm mounting the actual display screen here. This is the mount. Press this little tab here and it actually slides off. Comes with screws I put in my opinion, the more superior Robertson screws. And I just mounted it to a piece of 2x4 because what mine is on my boat, I have a seat and I'm going to clamp it onto the bottom of the seat so this thing is portable. This unit here goes on. Oh. There you go. That's it. Tilt it. You can turn it as well. Connectors are in the back. Here's the cable for the power. Believe it or not, I looked in the box. I actually found more instructions. There's instructions on how to actually mount this, although it was pretty simple to figure out. But it also has instructions on the electrical. And it's interesting because the electrical does come with 4 wires. 2 of them were stripped. They're black and red, positive and negative. And then there's a blue and brown, which according to the manual says these are extra ones for data connection and such. So I added on these spade terminals here on the end of the black wire already. And I'm going to do the same on the red as well, because I'm going to be able to put this on and off my battery easy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've hooked everything up here, trying it out, and I ran into a problem. And I like to learn. So what happens, I turned on the display and it said unsupported transducer. So I googled it, and there's 2 things that can cause that apparently. 1, inadequate power supply. So I took off the spades on the end, connected different ways. Maybe it didn't have a good enough connection. I don't see how that could be the problem now. It's a new battery. The other thing, that's the transducer that came with it. So I tried multiple different things, and in the end, I found the solution in case you have the same problem. I'm going to turn it on. I just did a factory reset, because after I did this other setting, it seemed to work fine, and I'm going to do it from scratch. So here you go. Here's the error. Unsupported transducer connected. So I went to OK. And here's what I did to fix it. Settings. Sorry, I'll go back. Go to settings. Select my vessel. Transducer type. It says CV20. I'm not sure which one that is, but that was the default on there. So I went, first I tried dual frequency. I looked up the specs. It's actually the dual beam. The dual frequency did display some stuff, but I don't know. Anyways, select dual beam. gives you an error message or a warning message saying this and it's the wrong thing, you could damage it, yada yada. Okay. Now you see my dual beam. You can do a temperature offset. You have settings now. Gonna go back, and here we are. Look at, now I have all my displays and my flasher. Maybe I'll do another video here once I get this set up on the boat and can learn it. The other things. So it seems to work now. I had to manually select it. Now, power it off. Power it back on. And now I don't get that error message. So if you end up getting that error message, try manually selecting the transducer, and then it seems to work. I don't know. It's and I don't know if we cut the power, if it's going to lose that setting or not. We'll find out, but it's easy enough fix. Anyways, so I do have it hooked up. There, the extra wire. I've stuck it in some water just to test to see if that was the problem I had earlier. And I've got, like I said, on the clamps here, but I'm going to put those spade bits back on now and go from there. Anyways, that's it. I don't think I have too much else to add. I'm going to put it on the boat and then maybe show how I got it mounted on there. Again, if I don't end up liking this setting on the trolling motor, I'm going to put it on something else. Probably a piece of wood that you can just clamp on there with a couple of spring clamps, just like I've got here on the battery right now to hold the wires on. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. So here we are. Here's the Garmin all set up on the boat. This is it. You can see there's something there coming across the line. It's chirping, thinks it's a fish. I'm not sure. You could do a flasher style. You can do the split frequency because it is a dual beam. Oh. You can do the waypoint map, showing you kind of where you're going all over the place, your heading, your speed, etc. And you can also do the GPS map and your sonar at the same time, which is pretty cool, I guess. Although it's a little small of a screen to do that, but kind of cool. I've just been keeping on the traditional, and I have it set to display depth, my speed, my battery voltage, which is important for me because I am running a electric trolling motor, and then there's the time. So here's how I got it all set up. It's mounted to that block of wood, clamped onto the seat, powers onto the battery, also the trolling motor. There's the Minn Kota. Now here's where I mix things up. As I mentioned, I might do. So I had the transducer on this Minn Kota. In the end, I ended up putting it on a block of wood. I'm glad I did, because the first time out with this Minn Kota, I bounced it off a rock. Didn't do any damage to it, took a little bit of paint. But if I had the transducer mounted on the bottom of this thing, then I would have ripped it off right away. So I'm glad I did. Okay, let me move it over and I'll show you how I've got this on there. Actually, let me just bring it over. You can see it kind of goes down into the water. Clamped on to a piece of wood. There's your cable. All right, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's out. All right, so here's what it is. The transducer looks like. See, I made it on so you can take the clamp off easy enough. That I just showed you. I can just lift it up. The unit's portable. And there you go. What I did was I drilled a hole through a block of wood there. Put the bolt that came with it, as well as that rubber washer, which prevents it from pivoting. Set it at the correct angle for my boat, so it's not quite 90 degrees because my transom is a bit of an angle. And there you go. That's it. Just attach the wire on there. Put that back on. I can actually kind of feel where it hits the bottom of the boat. There you go. And I put it a little bit lower, just below. Put that clamp back on there. And there you go. We're good to go. All right. Hopefully that helps someone out. Happy fishing.